All right, let's jump right in. We're going to try something a little different this time. Instead of looking back at what's already happened, we're going to take a peek into a single week in the very near future to really get a handle on the world that's being built around us as we speak.
So let's set the scene. The date is November 29th, 2025. We're there. This is our moment in time.
And on any given day, the world just feels chaotic. It's this dizzying mix of stuff that seems totally unrelated. The headlines are a blur of culture, crisis, and commerce. Let's just take a quick look around. Okay, so on this day in the United States, something pretty significant is happening. A real cultural and policy shift. For the very first time, federal Medicaid funds are actually being used to cover traditional Native American healing practices, like smudging. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe, there's a sudden tragedy. In Hong Kong, a huge fire tears through a residential high-rise. And the news is just devastating. Dozens are confirmed to dead, hundreds are missing, and a massive investigation is kicking off. And at the exact same time, the entertainment world just keeps on rolling. The Wicked sequel becomes this absolute box office monster, pulling in $150 million in just one weekend. So you've got this policy change, a disaster, and a blockbuster movie. 3 stories that seem to have absolutely nothing in common. But here's the real question. Amidst all that noise, what are the signals? Are there invisible threads connecting these dots? What are the huge, powerful forces that are actually shaping this one moment in our near future? Well, that's what we're here to break down. The first force is this massive shift in technology. We are smack in the middle of a global innovation race, but the playing field, well, it's getting seriously lopsided. And this image, it really gets to the heart of it, because while the West is busy debating, China is just building. It's creating this incredible high-speed innovation machine in the most important technologies of the future, from self-driving cars to groundbreaking new medicines. And the results? Well, they're starting to speak for themselves. Get this. Chinese open-source AI models are now getting more downloads than American ones. A relatively small Chinese biotech firm has developed a lung cancer drug that actually works better than a blockbuster therapy from Merck. And Volkswagen? They figured out how to build electric cars completely in China for half, literally half, the cost of building them back in Germany. This isn't just about catching up anymore. This is a whole new speed of innovation. So what's behind this huge gap? Well, what's so fascinating is the different approaches. The sources point to China's ability to be nimble with regulations, which fuels the super-fast private sector. Meanwhile, the West is getting bogged down by regulatory gridlock, anti-immigrant sentiment that chokes off top talent, and cuts to the basic research that seeds future breakthroughs. And here's the crucial point. This isn't about one political system versus another. It's about waking up to the fact that the old ways of doing things are being seriously challenged. If the West wants to stay in this race, it has to learn from what's working elsewhere and start adapting, fast. Okay, so let's move on to our second major force. Because while technology is racing ahead, the global political order is actually fracturing. Those old alliances are breaking down, and what's taking their place is a world built on some very, very fragile peace. Let's look at Ukraine in late 2025. There are these super tense peace talks happening with Russia. But at this exact same moment, the government is getting hammered by a huge corruption scandal tied to its state nuclear company. It threatens to blow up the country from the inside and makes any real path to lasting peace way more complicated. And all of this is happening in a world with a totally new approach to diplomacy. The sources call it Trumpian peacemaking. It's basically this transactional philosophy where might makes right, bluffing is part of the game, and the main conviction is just that war is, plain and simple, bad for business. And this instability isn't just in Eastern Europe. You see it everywhere. In the Middle East, a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah that's held for a year is suddenly pushed to the brink after a targeted strike kills a top commander in Beirut. All around the world, truces feel temporary, and alliances feel like they could disappear tomorrow. So we've got a lopsided tech race and a fractured global order. Our third force is the one that really brings it all home. A global economic squeeze that's putting incredible pressure on regular people, no matter where on Earth they live. I mean, look at this. From the shiny skyscrapers of Chicago to the bustling streets of Tehran, the story is shockingly similar. Cities are staring down massive budget holes, and their citizens are feeling the pain of inflation and just deep economic anxiety. Let's just break it down. In Chicago, they're trying to plug a $1.2 billion deficit, and that means a massive hike in property taxes for residents. In Iran, inflation is so out of control that the price of rice has doubled in 1 year. And even in a powerhouse economy like Japan, a falling currency and rising debt are flashing all kinds of warning signs. But this economic pressure, it's not just about dollars and cents. It's about something way deeper. It's about how people see their own future. And that brings me to one single, just staggering number from the data: 28%.
So what is that number? It's the percentage of people in China who now believe that hard work actually pays off. Just 10 years ago, that number was 62%. That is a jaw-dropping collapse in optimism, a loss of faith in the whole system, and it's happening inside the world's second biggest economy. The squeeze isn't just financial, it's psychological. So we've taken our little trip to November 2025. What's the takeaway? What have we really learned? Let's tie all these threads together. We've seen 3 huge interconnected forces at work. First, there's a tech race that's speeding up but becoming dangerously unbalanced. Second, a global order that's fracturing, leaving behind only fragile, temporary deals. And third, a deep economic squeeze that is crushing not just bank accounts, but more importantly, it's crushing hope. And that really leaves us with the big question. Because these forces aren't slowing down. If anything, they're getting stronger. As they collide and feed into each other, the real test of the next few years is going to be this: which societies will have what it takes to adapt, and which ones will just break under the strain?